Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 2, Book 24, number 535. Narrated by Anas. Abu Bakr wrote to me what Allah had ordered his apostle about zakat, which goes, neither an old nor a defected animal, nor a male goat may be taken as zakat except if the zakat collector wishes to take it. Volume 2, Book 24, number 536. Narrated by Abu Hurairah, Abu Bakr said, by Allah, if they pay me the zakat and withhold even a she-kid which they used to pay during the lifetime of Allah's apostle, I will fight with them for it. Umar said, it was nothing but Allah who opened Abu Bakr's chest towards the decision to fight, and I came to know that his decision was right. Volume 2, Book 24, number 537. Narrated by Ibn Abbas, when Allah's apostle, P.B. U.H., sent Mu'ah to Yemen, he said to him, you are going to people of a divine book. First of all invite him to worship Allah alone, and when they come to know Allah, inform them that Allah has enjoined on them 5 prayers in every day and night, and if they start offering these prayers, inform them that Allah has enjoined on them the zakat, and it is to be taken from the rich amongst them and given to the poor amongst them. And if they obey you in that, take zakat from them and don't take the best property of the people as zakat. Volume 2, Book 24, number 538. Narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Allah's apostle said, no zakat is imposed on less than 5 awsaq of dates. No zakat is imposed on less than 5 awaq of silver, and no zakat is imposed on less than 5 camels. Volume 2, Book 24, number 539. Narrated by Abu Dar. Once I went to him, the Prophet, and he said, by Allah in whose hands my life is, or probably said, by Allah, except whom none has the right to be worshipped, whoever had camels or cows or sheep and did not pay their zakat, those animals will be brought on the day of resurrection far bigger and fatter than before, and they will tread him under their hooves, and will butt him with their horns, and those animals will come in circle. When the last does its turn, the first will start again, and this punishment will go on till Allah has finished the judgments amongst the people. Volume 2, Book 24, number 540. Narrated by Ishaq bin Abdullah bin al-Tala. I heard Anas bin Malik saying, Abu Tala had more property of date palm trees gardens than any other amongst the Ansar in Medina, and the most beloved of them to him was Bayruha garden. And it was in front of the mosque of the Prophet. Allah's apostle used to go there and used to drink its nice water. Anas added, when these verses were revealed, by no means shall you attain righteousness unless you spend, in charity, of that which you love. 3.92. Abu Tala said to Allah's apostle, O Allah's apostle, Allah, the Blessed, the Superior says, by no means shall you attain righteousness, unless you spend, in charity, of that which you love. And no doubt, Bayruha garden is the most beloved of all my property to me. So I want to give it in charity in Allah's cause. I expect its reward from Allah. O Allah's apostle, spend it where Allah makes you think it feasible. On that Allah's apostle said, bravo! It is useful property. I have heard what you have said, O Abu Tala. And I think it would be proper if you gave it to your kith and kin. Abu Tala said, I will do so, O Allah's apostle. Then Abu Tala distributed that garden amongst his relatives and his cousins. Volume 2, Book 24, number 541. Narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, on Eid al-Fitr or Id al-Adha, Allah's apostle, P.B. U.H., went out to the Masala. After finishing the prayer, he delivered the sermon and ordered the people to give alms. He said, "O people, give alms." Then he went towards the women and said, "O women, give alms, for I have seen that the majority of the dwellers of hell fire were you, women." The women asked, "O Allah's apostle, what is the reason for it?" He replied, "O women, you curse frequently, and are ungrateful to your husbands. I have not seen anyone more deficient in intelligence and religion than you. O women, some of you can lead a cautious wise man astray." Then he left. And when he reached his house, Zainab, the wife of Ibn Masud, came and asked permission to enter. It was said, "O Allah's apostle, it is Zainab." He asked, "Which Zainab?" The reply was that she was the wife of Ibn Masud. He said, "Yes, allow her to enter." And she was admitted. Then she said, "O Prophet of Allah, today you ordered people to give alms, and I had an ornament and intended to give it as alms. But Ibn Masud said that he and his children deserved it more than anybody else." The Prophet replied, "Ibn Masud had spoken the truth. Your husband and your children had more right to it than anybody else." Volume 2, Book 24, number 542. Narrated by Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, "There is no zakat either on a horse or a slave belonging to a Muslim." Volume 2, Book 24, number 543. Narrated by Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, "There is no zakat either on a slave or on a horse belonging to a Muslim." Volume 2, Book 24, number 544. Narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, once the Prophet sat on a pulpit and we sat around him. Then he said, "The things I am afraid of most for your sake, concerning what will befall you after me, is the pleasures and splendors of the world and its beauties which will be disclosed to you." Somebody said, "O Allah's apostle, can the good bring forth evil?" The Prophet remained silent for a while. It was said to that person, "What is wrong with you? You are talking to the Prophet, P.B. U.H., while he is not talking to you." Then we noticed that he was being inspired divinely. Then the Prophet wiped off his sweat and said, "Where is the questioner?" It seemed as if the Prophet liked his question. Then he said, "Good never brings forth evil. Indeed, it is like what grows on the banks of a water stream, which either kill or make the animal sick, except if an animal eats its fill, the kadira, a kind of vegetable, and then faces the sun, and then defecates and urinates and grazes again. No doubt this wealth is sweet and green. Blessed is the wealth of a Muslim from which he gives to the poor, the orphans and to needy travelers." Or the Prophet said something similar to it. No doubt, whoever takes it illegally will be like the one who eats but is never satisfied, and his wealth will be a witness against him on the day of resurrection. Volume 2, Book 24, number 545. Narrated by Amr bin al-Harith, Zainab, the wife of Abdullah said, "I was in the mosque and saw the Prophet, P.B. U.H., saying, 'O women, give alms even from your ornaments.' Zainab used to provide for Abdullah and those orphans who were under her protection. So she said to Abdullah, 'Will you ask Allah's apostle whether it will be sufficient for me to spend part of the zakat on you and the orphans who are under my protection?' He replied, 'Will you yourself ask Allah's apostle?' Zainab added, 'So I went to the Prophet and I saw there an Ansari woman who was standing at the door of the Prophet with a similar problem as mine. Bilal passed by us and we asked him, "Ask the Prophet whether it is permissible for me to spend the zakat on my husband and the orphans under my protection." And we requested Bilal not to inform the Prophet about us. So Bilal went inside and asked the Prophet regarding our problem. The Prophet, P.B. U.H., asked, "Who are those two?" Bilal replied that she was Zainab. The Prophet said, "Which Zainab?" Bilal said, "The wife of Abdullah bin Masud." The Prophet said, "Yes, it is sufficient for her, and she will receive a double rewards for that, one for helping relatives, and the other for giving zakat."